take us back to the beginning. How did you, as a kid, get into music, and what was like the launching point?
It's so funny because no one in my family is remotely like artistically inclined. Like no one, my parents don't even like, they like the arts, but it's not as if like my childhood was steeped in them introducing me to like different kinds of music and foreign film.
No one was like a puppeteer or anything.
No. My dad was an airline captain. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, I know you like. Yeah, we got the airline thing. We're airline family girlies. And so like I think me finding like wanting to be remotely artistic and creative was such a diversion for my family. Nobody like knew what to do about it.
Right.
But I was just a dorky theater kid.
Yeah, same.
I like, there was a school play that just like again, core memory was like something ingrained in me at that moment where I was like, I need to do that. I need to be on stage. I want to perform. I want to sing. I want to make people feel like this. I remember observing the audience and how they felt watching this girl sing "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning" from Oklahoma. Yeah. And I was like, I want that.
You're like that grandma in the back who's weeping.
Totally.
I want to bottle that up and feel that forever.
Correct. So from there, it was like, I just manifested like finding a way to do musical theater around town, like local theater and school plays and like anything basically I could just sort of pour myself into.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what was the launching point where like things finally took off, that you got that big break into like teen pop stardom?
Yeah. So I went from like, I grew up in Orlando, Florida, just a normal kid in the suburbs. And I went from doing like a few little like local commercials and that sort of thing to I also sang the national anthem around town a lot.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's like a full-on cringe to think about. Like, I mean, I did the arena football team and the ice hockey team. And I mean, just like anybody that would have me sing the national anthem, I was there with my pitch pipe and my American flag hair bow.
You're like at the opening of a new Chipotle.
Totally.
You know? Like, I got it.
Whoever
ready.
would have me, I was ready. And I sang for the ice hockey team, I remember, in Orlando. And as I was like walking off the ice to the penalty box where my dad was waiting for me, these two gentlemen sort of beckoned both of us over and said, you know, we work at a recording studio here, which, you know, in hindsight is the shadiest,
the
sketchiest line for like a 13-year-old and her father.
Yeah.
But they basically were like, if you want to come and check out the studio and pay for studio time, like we have a bunch of original songs we've written. Have you ever, like, do you have interest in being a recording artist? And this was a time where I feel like pop music was just the sort of like late 90s, early 2000s iteration of pop music that we all know and love was just kind of starting to like percolate. So I remember thinking like Bette Midler, because I loved Bette Midler. I had like no other
Wind
point of
Beneath My
reference.
Wings, baby. Yeah.
Correct. I was like, I love beaches. So that was my point of reference. So I was like, yeah, I'd love to go into the recording studio. So lo and behold, I found myself in there weeks later, starting to work on like original music with these guys, paying for the studio time. And a man who worked for FedEx, who unbeknownst to me had like some friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, some weird chain that ended up being like an A&R guy, that one of the heads of A&R at Epic Records. He managed to send this like unfinished demo to this gentleman who somehow heard something he liked, which I find it really hard to believe now, because I had no idea what I was doing. I'd never been in a recording studio before, like putting on headphones. I'm like, hello? Like, it was...
You're also like 11. You haven't even gotten your period yet.
I hadn't got my period.
You have no idea what's happening.
By the way, I definitely hadn't. I like never French kissed a boy.
Yeah.
And this guy flew to Orlando, and I ended up like auditioning for him in person, and I signed a record deal.
Outside the Chipotle.
Outside the Chipotle. I like did a little dance routine.
It was a Moe's. It was like a Moe's Southwest Grill. Yeah. Okay. So, and then you auditioned for him, and then it just took off from there.
Well, I signed a record deal, and like by Christmas of that year, I left to like start making my record, and this was the beginning of 1999, the end of 98, beginning of 99.
Did your parents take you out of school?
Yes.
Wow.
I had just started high school. So I finished like my first half a year of freshman year. And I remember telling people like kind of sheepishly, like, I'm going to go record music. I was deathly afraid of people thinking ill of me, thinking that I was full of myself. So I tried to make myself as quiet and small as possible, not to like, I didn't want to attract attention. And so I had friends who were telling me that teachers for like the next like few months were calling my name at school. Like, where'd she go?
You weren't in school anymore.
Like, why is she not here anymore? And I was like, nope, I'm now doing, like homeschooling and extended studies. And
we're completely opposite, because I saw there was a model search at the mall one day. It was like John Casablanca. And I literally like rolled out of junior high and I was like, fuck you bitches. I will never see y'all again. I'm going to North Lake Mall right now. I'm going to go like walk outside the food court in front of a Panda Express and I'm going to get discovered. And then I was back to school on Monday morning at 8 a.m. They're like, she returned.
Wow. Yeah. But that I wish I had that confidence.
I shouldn't have had that confidence, Mandy. I should not have.
No, it has served you very well in life.
It's a blind confidence. But I think that I had I've had later on success because I had to I had to be humbled quickly. You came into the business so humble, like, I'm just going to go make my art. You know what I mean? I'm like, I am a star on rollerblades right now at this junior high sleepover. So everybody watch out. Okay, wait. So you leave school. So you're getting homeschooled. You're making the record.
Yes.
What's that phone call like where they're like, it's on the radio?
Well, so it was like a very short trajectory from starting to record a record in January to like by, I want to say May, I would say of that year. I was out here in Los Angeles making the Candy music video.
Yes.
That song had been identified as like, that was the first single.
Right.
And then immediately from the set of filming that video, I flew back across the country. I don't know why I remember these details, to Virginia Beach, Virginia, to start the NSYNC summer amphitheater tour.
I just got chills. I got chills. I might have peed a little on myself. I have goosebumps. Okay, wait.
But I also, granted, I went from like, when you go to those summer amphitheater tours, or we did as like young people, and like the tiny little like rickety stage that's out in the front. That was me.
You were by concessions.
I was
you
right
weren't
by
the amphitheater.
No, I was not in the amphitheater.
Okay.
I graduated eventually by the end of the tour to the amphitheater, to like the main stage. But so when people are like, oh my gosh.
You opened for NSYNC.
You opened for NSYNC. I'm like, there was 0.0% chance they knew I existed on the planet. Like, absolutely not.
How long did it take to get to the opener?
Months.
A couple months.
A couple months, yeah.
But things move quick. In child stardom, things move quick.
They move quick. And I remember this was a time, we're talking like the summer of 99. My record label made these sort of really cool tape cassettes that back when we all listened to tape cassettes.
Oh yeah.
That looked like almost like a cigarette box. So you flipped open the top of it. My cassette was wedged in there along with like a little poster that you could take out. So that was the merch that I was signing.
Oh,
before I had real merch.
Right.
That was what I was signing for people with like, some ridiculous picture of me on the cover. And it was the Candy single, and getting to spend the entire summer like, traveling around in a 15-passenger van with backup dancers.
Right.
Theoretically.
And how old are you again at this time?
15.
15. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd gotten your
Opening
period at this point, probably.
Just started my period, feeling like a full-fledged young woman.
A bunch of like 40-year-old dancers.
Yeah,
who
totally.
Are just like, all named Tanya.
Yeah, smoking cigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, get in the van, sweetheart. We're going down to Norfolk.
Yep.